Hey everyone, welcome to the Warrior Cancer Club. And the Warrior Cancer Club, we are a group of cancer survivors, and we were brought together because we all work or associated with Okehilly Middle School here in West Palm Beach. And for a long time now, we've all been saying, you know what, we really need to get together and write down about our cancer and our journey and how it's affected us. But we thought, how about video? Let's sit down and record videos for YouTube, for the world, so we can tell our stories, how cancer affected our lives, helping others who are going through cancer, or if you have a loved one going through cancer, some of our videos I'm sure will help you too. And just to let you all know what cancer teaches you about life. So that's what the Warrior Cancer Club is about. Um, my story, my name is Julie Green, and at age 43, I was diagnosed with stage 3C colon cancer. Cancer only goes to stage 4, so I was this close to stage 4, which means it has metastasized to other parts of my body. But I got lucky. It was on the right side of my colon. I really didn't have any symptoms at all. Luckily, I was at the doctor, and she noticed that I was anemic. And she's like, that is just very unusual. Why don't you go have endoscopy and colonoscopy? And lucky I heeded her advice. And lo and behold, there was a tumor in my right colon. So if I didn't have that blood test, I'm not sure I'd be here today. Anyway, I had surgery like a week later and went through 6 months of chemo. And I'll tell you all about that later. And everything went great. I just celebrated my 5-year cancerversary. So we all look forward to talking to you in future videos. So I hope this really helps you. See you next time.
Hi, my name is Isis Sufrain, aka Almighty Isis. I love this name, so you are to call me Almighty. Okay, I am a 3 time cancer survivor. I'm going to tell you a little bit about me, and then later on we'll get into details with all the different cancer experiences, stories, and tips, of course. I was first diagnosed when I was 33 years old with breast cancer, and breast cancer in my right breast. And it was devastating to receive the news that you have cancer, regardless of what stage. Luckily for me, I was just stage 1 at the time. But unluckily, I had had my 5th child, and she was only 4 months old. So this was very hard. I could no longer breastfeed. Um, Not that that isn't the joy of the world, not to breastfeed, but the fact that I was diagnosed with cancer, period, at the age of 33 was a scary situation where I thought I had the rest of my life to live. This would only happen to somebody who was in their 50s or their 60s. But 33 still felt like I was 25. So, as you're now diagnosed with cancer, I had the mastectomy, I had the reconstruction, I now have my implants, I now have my nipples. And the next step was to go and get checked up. First, it was 2 months, then every 4 months, and I got to my 6th month. By the time I reached my second 6th month, I was diagnosed with cancer a second time. Not in my breast. Mm-mm. This time it was ovarian cancer. So more tests were done, same as the first time around, which was nerve wracking to begin with. But this time I thought, I know the drill. Wrong. It's always the first time, no matter how many times you get cancer. So we went in, and now I'm sitting up at stirrups for the world to see, open wide. And everybody's now looking, and including students, at my ovarian cancer, and with little telescopes looking up to see, oh, do you see the cancer? Yes. uh, I found humor in that. I volunteered for the students to, to be teaching. And at this point, I've got nothing to lose, but maybe everything to gain if more eyes were on the prize. Well, with the ovarian cancer, we thought that maybe the breast cancer had spread. And it turned out that it didn't. It was an entirely different beast. It was an entirely different kind and an entirely different experience. Okay, so 2 years later, I was diagnosed with breast cancer again. You heard right. Breast cancer with no breasts. It was told to me that I had breast cancer again due to the type of breast cancer that I had, which is HER2 positive. What happens with this type is that it goes to sleep. And if my body releases too much estrogen, then it wakes up and starts attacking the different cells. So when I found out that I had breast cancer after the implants, the doctor came into the room, and I was her first patient of the day. And she actually came in crying a little bit with the nurse. And I was already sitting there. It was just after the biopsy, and I already had a feeling something was wrong. So when she kind of comes in very sad and crying, it caused me to start laughing because how many times can you get cancer? How many times are you going to be told you have cancer? Where the first time I thought I'm going to die. And the second time you're like, okay, well, let's do this. I'll beat this. And then you hear you get it again. And it's like, are you kidding me?
Hey everybody, my name is Brian Thomas. I'm 34 years old. I was diagnosed with cancer on March 25th of this year. And at first they said it was a GIST tumor. It was keeping me from being able to eat normal foods. Then they did a CT scan they did a CT scan, but they also did an endoscopy, which they found, and they sent up to New York, and they found that that was not the case. I would have loved to have had a GIST tumor instead of what they figured out was melanoma. They didn't know the stage. They'd never seen melanoma like this before. So I needed to have it resected because I couldn't function. I couldn't eat. If I ate, I just ended up, vomiting it up or being very, very uncomfortable. So we went in, we had 2 weeks till we were going to have surgery, and we needed to figure out what surgeon we were going to go with. And so we decided on a surgeon down in Miami and went with him, and he cut me wide open from sternum to just about an inch below the belly button, and did a major surgery, removed my gallbladder, the bottom third of the atrium of my stomach, the first bend in my duodenum, part of my transverse colon, and I think that's it. And then I spent the next couple of months recovering from that surgery, and there they figured out that it was stage 4 melanoma. And when I flew out to, what's that place called? MD Anderson in Houston, Texas, where I then more specifically was given the title of stage 4 metastatic mucosal melanoma. So from about that time, actually just a month before I went out there, I was on an alternative therapy called enzyme therapy, and stuck with that until they found that it had metastasized from where they had resected it to my liver, which gave me extreme fatigue, to the point where it was hard to move my eyeballs left and right and enunciate my words and get up out of the couch, play with my baby, my 3-year-old girl, Gabby, and even just socialize with people, whether on the phone or if they were at my house. There's no chance of going anywhere else to do anything functional except for maybe go to the bathroom. So I decided that the enzyme therapy was not working for me, and I had to decide that on my own because the doctors that had me on enzyme therapy were like, no, stick with it, but I wasn't going to live long enough to stick with it. So I could feel that inside of me. I needed to be very aggressive and get this taken care of. So then I went to the Brzezinski Institute, which love them. They figured out an alternative chemotherapy. So what they call off-label chemo drugs were used to kind of isolate and destroy the tumor that was now in my liver. And after only 2 months of Abraxane, Avastin, and carboplatin, the tumor had a 70% volume decrease, which was awesome. And now I'm just finishing up that treatment, and I'm moving to immunotherapy. We're going to go see an expert down in Miami, and we're moving forward from there. Right?
Hi, my name is McCharles Addy. In 2004, I was diagnosed with a form of cancer called multiple myeloma. Multiple myeloma is a blood-borne type of cancer that affects the bone marrow and the bones. It can affect other organs if not taken care of, such as the kidneys and liver. I currently receive my treatment at the University of Arkansas Medical Science, which is located in Little Rock, Arkansas. At this point in time now, I'm on a maintenance plan to keep my cancer at a low level, because in 2004 I did go into remission. It lasted 2 years, but my numbers and my count started to rise up again. So to make sure that I don't have the 95% or higher cancer like I did when I was first diagnosed, the doctors put me on a low dose chemotherapy along with some pills called Revlimid that I take together along with dexamethasone, which has been a good combination to help keep and sustain the cancer in my bone marrow. So currently, that's where I'm at in my point in time with my diagnosis. And thank you very much. I look forward to sharing more with you at a later date.